Hello. I'm trying this on a new computer. Hopefully it goes well. I've been dropping into my body with breath a lot more these last few days. Just rolling with good day, bad day. Um, for the most part, it's just all fine. I was reminded um, I've been feeling this for a while now. Just all of this emptiness stuff is really making sense on a core level. And a while ago, I was reminded of how I used to feel when I was a child, and especially when I was a young adult, where you're trying to define yourself and all these questions are being asked of like, what do you prefer? What do you like? Um, People would keep on trying to get me to say that I like or don't like something. Family, friends. And I remember these experiences where people were just so annoyed that either they thought I was being too nice and I just didn't want to show myself, or it was this judgment against my character of like, oh, you're not a solid person. You don't have values or something like this. And it was such a deep source of shame for me. And I remember like spending time with people that I thought very highly of. And I thought, oh, if I hope they don't, I don't want them to get to know me any better because they'll find out that there's no values here. There's nothing at the center. And it was this question mark of like, how how do you fill this in? And it felt like I had to find a reason for it. Like, oh, I was raised, poorly, that there were no values or something. Um, but it felt wrong. Like it felt there was this like, why am I being pushed for this? And this simultaneous shame. So all this recent stuff of just putting down the need to define yourself and the need for um, intention pushing you forward, that it's okay to just flow, to just go with what is going on, and you know to not have an answer for what do you want in life, or what do you want in general, in anything, in general or specifically. um, to not have an answer for where do you see yourself in 5 years, what's your dream, to just be okay with it is right here, right now, and not have that be a deficiency in character. Um, it's really relaxing to have found something that validates that, where I can just relax into not trying to impress anyone, not trying to be anything, um, and where the highest activity is to just be, feel into my body. And nothing is boring because that's always there. And if I'm bored, then I just acknowledge that I'm in that state at the moment and there's nothing wrong with it. Um, it's been fun dropping into breath and body sensation more, where it feels like I'm in the right place, where it feels very full and heavy, but then flowing, where it's not stuck anywhere, where energy is just flowing through my whole body. So that was fun. I kind of did. I couldn't sleep last night. I'm in this phase where I wake up for a couple hours every night. Um, and I just found myself doing like a Reiki thing where, like, checking every body center to see if things are flowing well through. And that was nice. That was a nice insomnia activity. Um, Everything's coming easier. The house is just staying clean. Um, Money seems to just be around, which is nice. I'm not spending that much of it because there's less um, behavior of like I'm not going out as much. Um, Less and less escape behavior. So that's nice. I do still find myself doing food things because my body feels, uh, there's still feelings that come up in my stomach, and I'll pause and feel into them, but then I'm also eating to, because oftentimes it's during work where things will come up, and there's that like escape avoidance stuff. Um, so I do still have that behavior. Um, but it's nice to not feel bad about it and to not feel like I need to get over it. And like, why aren't I better at this kind of thing? To not own it at all. And I like some of the words that I've come across where um, the reminder that conditioning is what it is, and it's okay that it takes time to clear, um, and that's okay. Um, yeah, I wanted to share about that, like the relief of putting down the shame of being nobody, and then I can just be, and it allows me to be more open with people and more loving. Because I'm not as worried about what people think of me or getting attention or getting love. The topic of death keeps coming up here and there in the things that I listen to. I don't think I associate life and death like most people do. Um, this might be a sexist thing to say, but it feels like men have a harder time with it than women do. That men have more of a need to be permanent, or maybe the masculine within us, within each person, grasps onto that more. It feels like being a woman and having had to compromise my whole life, and I'm hearing more women express um, that this is not as much of a problem, or I hear more men express that this is a problem, kind of a thing. It feels like it speaks to the masculine. Whenever um, whenever I hear something that's speaking to the fear of death, it feels like it's speaking to the masculine more. And I've had that conversation with men more in my family and kind of in conversations. My biggest fear with death is because my kid would not have her mom. Like that's my biggest problem with it. Other than that, um, the bigger fear is pain. And now it's not as big a fear. Which I every time I think that I think that's easier. It's easy to say when you're not in pain. Um, so I kind of try to practice pain, like mindful pain, whenever I have the opportunity. Not creating it, but it comes up often enough. Especially when I let myself feel into my stomach. There's usually still stuff hanging out there, like anxiety just lives. Um, there feels like there's like a primal fear that lives there that I can feel into. Um, but yeah, gripping pain is a difficult one. And I figure the more that I am accepting of everything in every moment, the more I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to fear it. And when things come, they'll be dealt with as they come. Work is coming easier. I notice anxiety come up every time, every week that my daughter comes back. Every time, um, and I know not to buy into it now because it never. It's always fine. And the more that I leave her alone, the more I put down the anxiety about her health, her behavior, her how she looks. The more I let her have more, like more run of herself, the more she relaxes, the more I relax, and we can just have a good time. And the more that she actually behaves, like um, she takes charge of herself better. And I think over time, um, yeah, I'm just finding it. It's getting easier. Pardon me, easier to relax. And every time that I forget that, immediately I'm like, why? Like making her brush her teeth or whatever. Like in this state, it's easier to find um, a better flow of doing things. Um, I'm trying to see what else is worth reflecting on in this state. It's just been nice. It's been pretty consistently neutral with ups and downs that just come through. And I've been pretty good at not really getting hooked on something. And whatever I do get hooked on, like anger for a second or negativity or anxiety, it comes through. It just flows through and then it goes, and that's fine. It's a pretty fearless state to be in. And it's nice. I don't really have that many people around me anymore. Like I have my community, but I don't have people who directly ask me questions or challenge me on the what ifs and the what do I wants. Um, and whoever does do that, I I'm getting better at kind of politely brushing off questions like that. Um, It's nice finding more and more a space in which I can just be without having to make anything of myself. And to just trust that things will develop and open as they do. And to be fine with things being exactly as they are and not growing into anything or changing. And changing and growing into whatever they change and grow into without anticipation or guessing at it. Because I've seen the nuances of life enough that there's nothing there's no question that I feel like I don't have an answer to, that I need an answer to. So it's nice to be here. And it's nice to reflect on just this in comparison to how deep that shame was, of the terror of if only they found out that I'm nothing. And I was so proud of myself picking up values. And I did that when people violated my boundaries. And those were the values that I was picking up, was like sovereignty. Um, I was saying something else and I forgot. It's nice to be here. I'm dipping more into just traditional literature, like listening to and poking into the text for like the Tao Te Ching and the like stories of Zen. Picked up a copy of Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, um, and what is this? Zen Keys. Anyway, just things to do and explore, and kind of stories to walk into, to just explore this feeling further, and to, color the experience of being in my body with a story for fun. It feels nice to sit here. I guess I could go. Ooh. I see the time is jumping. So this might actually be a really choppy video. We'll see how that goes. Alrighty. Good nighty.